All right. Hey, and
Howdy ho, y'all.
welcome. All right, we're going a little live here. Just, things are changing. And one of the things are changing, just things have changed up for today, I would say.
There's no Thursday today, so we decided to do Balo time.
Yeah.
Plus you.
Yes.
Let me get my Twitch on my phone for comments.
Yeah, a little art department there. Chilling and kind of doing
Mini art department.
mini art department there.
Can you do
Saying
what, baby?
hi to all the peeps. Yeah, no more fur coats as we're trying to
Not right now, no.
take some time, launch a new
But my phone's
campaign
ready.
for tonight. We'll see how that shapes up. Hopefully we'll get some people for the next few weeks putting in a old school Exandria campaign in Wildmount.
You say that, but they might Tuesday say they want to be one place and then spend the first 2 years of the campaign somewhere else.
That's true. Like originally, you mean when Xerahaas
Tuesday.
then walk over to Nicodratus for a year? Yeah, that's really what the original is. But yeah,
Nobody wants to see your
uh,
feet. So we're chilling. You got questions, you can ask them.
Yeah.
Matt's going to talk about things I don't understand, and I'll pretend to.
And I'm gonna yell at people.
So that's part of it. I want to talk about various things, D&D 2024, and just going to jump around a little bit also by questions, just hopefully get some peeps or anybody who wants to
You want to talk to
jump in,
us.
ask things. Yeah, so I've had a chance to read through a lot of the 2024 rather, recently. I really like it. I'm really excited for it. I like a lot of the additions. It's funny because a lot of I think I was watching some different people review it and they're like, I wouldn't use that in my table or something. I'm
Then
like,
don't.
they all seem really good.
Sorry if my water bottle's really loud, guys.
I do think the new update to D&D Beyond just made it a lot harder to not play 2024. Just more
I mean, clerics are becoming even more badass.
where you find your stuff, but they're becoming good. So I mean, they're already really good. But they did a lot of cool spell
Becoming good?
changes.
Becoming
Yeah,
good?
They're already good.
I'm gonna steal one.
But there's so much good that all the classes get. I'm mostly excited by just the rule changes they did. I think with exhaustion and some other stuff.
Yeah, you said the exhaustion. I was like, up all rolls, it's like a set number instead of being like certain
Yeah.
abilities.
I
That's
think I got
cool.
makeup in
Yeah,
here.
so it's your exhaustion level times 2 is what all your D20 tests are minus.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, but it is so deadly. Like when it
Well,
comes down to
it's-
like death saves,
Yeah,
because
but
that means like immediately flat out one exhaustion means you need to roll 12 to succeed on your death save.
I
right?
get that, but I still think that's a better show of exhaustion than the other way.
Yeah, I agree.
Because especially, I know me, little to no sleep for 5 days. Yes, I'm still alive, but
Barely.
why would I be negative 10 dice?
Barely allowed.
What do you want, Ruby Rose?
Yeah, they that's the other thing too. I think it's that number times 5 is your reduction in speed. Yeah, 2024 games when I've been watching Tuesday's chat. I think we're fully transitioning on Tuesday. That's what it looks like from what I can tell.
As
I
long,
need to
yeah,
verify with a few of them. I know
Yeah,
there's a
they
few
do
other
adorable
things here or
dogs
there.
here.
some of them are waiting to see if they die, to see if they don't have to recode their old characters.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, most of the rules 2024 are coming to all the games. So like I'm going to be implementing exhaustion, the new exhaustion rules. I'm going to be implementing a lot of the rule base, I would say,
Yes.
from the DM. That is basically coming in for just about all the games, if not all the games, I would say. The big question is more the spells and the characters. That is where we're trying to figure it out a little bit. And that most has to do with some people's builds. And so
Don't take
as far
my
as
phone.
here's the answer for when are the different games going to 2024 characters sheets, which I think is probably what we're really asking there. I would say when that night is like ready to pull the trigger. So
Yeah.
I'm taking what I call the pot roast approach, and all that means is we're slow cooking it.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to go and memorize all the rules yet.
Oh yeah.
I think we're all going to be learning them together. Dude,
Honestly,
where's Daddy's?
yeah,
Where's
they're
Daddy's chocolate?
Zednem there. There's not that much to memorize. It's super simple. Like there's just not that big of a change. Honestly, there's just enough change to make it more fun.
Yeah.
I mean the spell interactions, those are something else. Like there's going to be a lot of getting used to the way the spells behave. A little bit.
I don't know. Wednesday's got to hang on it.
Uh,
Ryan and that damn spell.
well, that was
so
that
funny.
was from Kobold Press.
Oh,
That
that's
was
from
not.
Cobalt Press.
That wasn't a 2024 spell. That was just a Kobold Press spell that
That's a
they
good
grabbed,
spell.
which is a really good
Don't-
spell. It was reaction. You succeed the save.
Okay, crawl
and then the
under and go
enemy
give it
has
to
make
Daddy.
The save, which is really fun. But yeah, definitely put stuff in comments. Otherwise, we'll just keep making random content. But I wanted to go over some of like my favorite stuff
I'm sliding.
from
What favorite stuff?
from the rules.
Oh,
Like
cool.
some of my personal highlights. I think I talked about exhaustion already. Really like what they did with exhaustion.
I like I said, I think exhaustion makes so much more sense now. Like it's because it's almost to me like they did a combination of like you used to do it too, wasn't it? Was
I usually like stress, which was really similar.
stress.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a combination. Saya. It's like a combination now, and I like that better because I always thought like exhaustion didn't really make all that much sense the way it was done. But I like it a lot better like with the new version now. But I know like there's a lot of other little changes that you're taking into account as well.
Yeah. So one thing I think they have their little social interaction thing. And I like just how they took some time. It's my favorite things in 2024 rulebook is how they took a lot of time to explain some things clearly. Where and it's so funny because a lot of it like was understood, was generally understood, was very like I would say like most people would play games like knew, oh, this is how you do it. But if you weren't really into the RP scene, like it was a little more confusing. But really quick, yeah. So it's -2, -4, yeah.
Times your level.
Which I think
the
6
level.
still kills you. But yeah, so and then
Well, yeah, if you're
and then-
negative
and then
12 on
the-
dice, you're pretty it would have to kill you because you go down once, you can't make a save.
yeah, then 5, 10, 20, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, going down in speed still. Yeah,
Yeah.
you still die at 6. But yeah.
Damn, you're on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but if you think about it, like if you get 5 levels of it, if you get like 6 levels of exhaustion, it has to kill you because that's -12. You go down once, you cannot save a death roll.
Yeah.
So it would have to kill you, which
Well,
makes
unless you got
sense.
a pally around there. Which I think so it's so different how they do it now though, but pally stuff's a little different. But
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Stop.
But for like one thing, like they talk about the role playing rules, which I really am a fan of.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
I
Because
have
they
not
talk
read it.
about so they have like little bits, like as you role play, consider whether you approve an active approach or a descriptive approach, each of which is described in social interaction example, which tells you, and then this thing, the DM uses an NPC's personality and your character's actions and attitudes to determine how an NPC reacts.
So what you're already doing, it's just they actually put it into words.
Yeah, and so stuff like that was traditionally only in the Dungeon Master guide.
Yes.
It was like, hey, Dungeon Masters, do
Oh,
this.
I like that. Then the players understand more.
Yeah,
I like
it
that.
points the players
That's
to go,
smart.
this is what we're telling the DM to do,
Yeah.
as opposed to
that's
DM
clever.
going like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do, and the players kind of feel, what do you mean you're supposed to do this? I like they did a lot of things here that like tell someone look in the player's handbook, like a player in the game,
Mhm.
oh, this is them doing their job. This is what
That's
the DM
smart.
is supposed to do.
I like that too.
So that's really nice. I really
Saya. If you're gonna misbehave, you can't be on stream.
like that. Because they say a cowardly bandit might buckle under threats of imprisonment, or a stubborn merchant refuses to help if the character's badger her, or a vain dragon laps up flattery.
What a vain dragon? Never.
And then it gives us a little clue for players too to really like when
I like
interacting
that.
with an NPC. Pay attention to the DM's portrayal of the NPC's personality. You might be able to learn an NPC's goals and then use that information to influence the NPC. So just like like just a sentence, right? Just so too, I guess that one. but it's like
But
one
that's
line.
nice because a lot of people, especially newer players, because I've heard the comment, especially at like Gen Cons and stuff, when you hear people like they kind of think that they're the only characters that change and grow, and it's not a organic world really, but it's like what you do doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Right.
And I like that they like flat out say it in different words. What's the comment? Because I can't read when you have my phone.
What do you mean that guy who we pretended to be a priestess with saw through my deception and now hates our guts? Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's so that type of thing. But I really love that because it like reminds players a little bit like you don't just try a random persuasion or a random thing and go, oh, I'm sure this is going to work on this person. You need to pay attention to what they're thinking and feeling, and again, putting that player facing, which usually it's always been DM facing.
Yeah, I like
in
that.
a book that says if you're a player, don't read this book. It's like
Right.
super interesting. So yeah. But and then the last, I'm going to read this because like this whole little section is so jam packed. If you offer NPCs something they want or play on their sympathies, fears, or goals, you can form friendships, ward off violence, or learn a key piece of information. On the other hand,
True.
if you insult a proud warrior or speak ill of a noble's allies, your efforts to convince or deceive will likely fail.
Yeah.
And so I think because a lot of times we watch when we watch D&D shows and there are these actual plays, which aren't actual plays. Like they're not actual playing the game. They're making a media thing to consume. It's not like watching someone's home game all the time.
Yeah.
And when they do that, it's amazing, and I love watching it. But it's funny because they will like just go, "Oh, you tried this, sure." And the reason why they do this is because they have a runtime and they're paying these people X thousands of dollars for every hour they're on camera, and they're not going to do this. So it's not like really indicative of how it works.
Fill me a water.
Where it's like, oh no, you did actually know kind of what's up here. So anyway, that's all of that. And then they also, and again, we all treated it this way kind of anyway, but they expanded actions just to make it a little clearer about what's going on. So there's attack, dash, disengage, dodge, which we know, help, which we've always done, hide. And then we start to get into this next one. Influence, magic, ready, which has been around. Search, study, utilize. Have all been added, which are super, super fun.
Those are good.
Yeah, so it's like write out like, hey, do you want to make this charisma check or wisdom check to alter a creature's attitude? That is the influence action. That defines it really well. And again, like normal, you can always decide, but someone really does put that into it because I think it wasn't as clearly spelled out before how that works. So it's one thing I definitely liked. Oh,
Mine.
let's see. Then they give like a real good
Baby.
social interaction example, which is super, super fun.
There you go.
But that being said, so that's one thing. Again, looking at any of the chat here,
I think that's also helpful for a lot of people who are like, I don't know how to start to role play. I think it's helpful to have in the core book now, kind of almost like suggestions on how to start role playing.
Yeah. But then they simplified some other things, which I really appreciate about underwater combat.
Oh my god!
I freaking hated to remember that role. They simplified it. So the new thing is, when you make a melee attack roll with a weapon underwater, a creature that lacks a swim speed has disadvantage on the attack roll unless the weapon deals piercing.
Unless the what?
Weapon deals piercing.
So daggers are still good to go.
Yeah.
Pokey, stabby.
So before it was like, unless it's a this, or, and I get why they're like, a trident should do this, a spear, but I really like they just said if it's piercing, you're good to go.
I like that. I like that because it's a lot simpler to understand too. It's not like, oh god, what am I doing again?
Yeah. And then with the range weapon, they changed it. A range attacker with weapon underwater automatically misses a target beyond the weapon's normal range.
That's
and
good.
The attack roll has disadvantage against her target within normal range.
Nice.
So I believe the hand crossbow or crossbow in general used to be an exception to that rule. That
And that's
exception is
such a
taken
weird.
out.
Yeah, it's such a weird exception.
Or for mermaid weird's a weapon. If you have a swim speed, it's okay. So it has it
What?
there. Swim speed, mermaid. Come on.
Play your hand back.
And then again,
I know
you
he
say the
answered,
same.
he just answered.
Something a little bit like that. I just like the simplicity because it's easier to just.
That means Pan would have been even more fun.
Yeah.
'Cause Pan had a swim speed.
Okay, I'm actually going to read this part live because I haven't done yet. But mounted combat, I really wanted to see what. they've
Ooh,
done.
mounted combat? Let's go.
See here. During a move, you can mount a creature that is within 5 feet of you or dismount. Yep, doing so costs an amount of movement equal to half your speed. Cool, it's the same. You can control a mount only if it has been trained to accept a rider. Cool. It's kind of just clarity. Domesticated horses, mules, and similar creatures have such training. The initiative of a controlled mount changes to match yours when you mount it. Yep. It moves on your turn as you direct it, and it only has 3 action options during that turn: dash, disengage, and dodge. A controlled mount can move and act even on the turn you mount it. Cool, I like this little.
Yeah.
In contrast, comma, an independent mount, one that lets you ride but ignores your control, retains its place in the initiative order and moves and acts as it likes. It's so much clearer than it used to be. It's a super
That
light.
means
and then they have some falling off rules, which is nice.
Kirk Spider can still do everything it does.
Yeah. So it doesn't really change too much. It just makes it super clear.
It makes it super clear. There's no room for interpretation. People can't argue points on it now.
Yeah, it's the clarity is there. Big
Clarity is always a good thing.
Is can you cast while mounted? Yeah. It doesn't say anything about not being able to cast while mounted. I think definitely.
When don't you mount animals? You have a freaking zoo.
Zoo time.
But I think yeah, because all you just need to use your magic action, right? If you're casting a spell. So as long as it doesn't say anything about that on your magic action, you're fine.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any spells that would be. I'm trying to think. Like the only thing I think that like on a mount that you wouldn't be able to do is steady aim, like because you're gonna move on the mount, or if the mount moves, that's not gonna work for you. I think that's like the only real thing that you're not gonna be able to do from the back of a mount. Like I don't see why you wouldn't be able to cast or fight or do anything. Sorry, go close that door.
So my summoned water hose can be my mount. This is true.
Yes. Oh, concentration at high speeds.
No, I mean, not. Let me look at this.
I think that would depend on if you, while mounted, you have to manage the mount, right? Or can that?
Yeah, we can talk about the weapon stuff in a
That's
second.
a good question.
The initiative, yeah. So it moves. So okay, so a controlled mount. So we'll talk about a controlled mount. It moves on your turn as you direct it, and it has only 3 action options during that turn. You can move and act even on the turn that you mount it. Oh, that's actually a fun little thing there.
Yes.
So yeah, going high speeds, you can, because your mount can dash, right? So your mount is moving and dashing. It's doing it. You're not. So you could definitely concentrate and cast a spell. And
That's
do all
cool.
those sorts of things. The only thing would be, I would say potentially, depending on what's happening, the GM or the DM might go, "Hey, a lot's happening. Let's make a concentration check." Or this was so rough. Or I would probably, if I was going to do anything like that, I'd probably do something more like, okay, well, the horse, let's do like a dexterity save, and we can add your wisdom to it since
That
you're
makes
mounting
sense.
it, like for the heck of it. And then if you get 17, it does it really well. But if you fail, then
me.
there's going to be like concentration checks or something like that, right? Like that would be how, like, if we really wanted to do that, we'd go, hey, let's make a ride check and see how this would work. Animal handling check, maybe.
Someone wants to talk about weapons.
Yeah. So
Whoopee!
stuff. before we get to the weapons. There's a lot about the so much weapon stuff in this that haul. Let me get to a lot of that. So I'm really excited. So it's weapon masteries, which are kind of like the big, because weapons are pretty much the same. They just have masteries. I don't think there's been a lot of weapon stuff. Let me get over here. Here we go.
Thank you.
So let me just sort of see. I think a few things are light that used to not be.
She's on blanket duty.
Yep.
Somebody's freezing to death.
So, like, there are
fun.
new weapon masteries?
Yes. So, for instance, there's the club, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple weapon with 1d4 bludgeoning as the light property.
Right.
Which means you can easily have in 2 hands.
Hold on, we got a crying child. Saya, baby, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened?
Stove toe.
Oh.
All right. Get some comfort. So, with the slow, if you hit a creature with the weapon and deal damage to it, you can reduce its speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. If the creature is hit more than once by weapons that have this property, the speed reduction doesn't exceed 10 feet. So, what I really like about so that's an example of one of the mastery properties. And so you have different classes that allow you to pick mastery properties on your weapons. And they tell you exactly how to do
You
that.
okay?
But
Looked like it hurt.
what I'm super super like about a lot of this is it is a reason why you might have different weapons and switch between them.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so before it's like I have this and it might do bludgeoning versus piercing or whatever, and
Yeah.
very rarely would you come into a situation, and it was so rare
Skellies.
that almost nobody ever could actually switch their weapons.
I think the only time I ever switched them was with skeletons because bludgeoning is better.
Yeah, but
That's
a lot of
it.
times people facing skeletons, they would still not switch it because they didn't have like an option to switch, or they would do the calculation and go like, well, it goes down too many dice classes or whatever. So the difference between bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, I'm kind of surprised they kept it, but it is it just was so minuscule. I guess except underwater maybe, or like I said, usually didn't come up. But these things, so like slow is really good. Of course, Nick, everyone's loving Nick because which is just when you make the extra attack of the light property. Because if you have light, you can make the extra attack. You can make it as part of the attack action instead of as a bonus action.
Oh, you could wait. What can you do?
So if you are weapon mastery and Nick with a Nick weapon,
What's a
That-
Nick weapon?
that's one of the properties.
Okay.
No, you know, normally if you had light, right, you could hit with one light weapon or weapon, and then you could bonus action light with the second one.
Right.
You could always do that, right?
Yeah.
If it has a Nick property, then you can do that as part of the action.
Okay.
So you don't have to use your bonus action.
Oh. Okay. That's cool.
So essentially, this means rogues get 2 attacks and their bonus action if they're double daggered,
Nice.
or if they might have a hand on a dagger.
That's
Um,
cool. That's
so,
that's kick
yeah.
ass.
So it also is why a rogue would actually have a dagger, and it's again having
that's-
reasons why they're using these.
That's kick ass.
Oh yeah, And then,
Especially for a rogue. We got hurt foot.
while you have a fly speed, you can sail off until you land, fall, or die. Yeah, well, you have a fly speed. Yeah, that's definitely good. If your speed drops to 0,
cool.
I think you still fall.
But hover you don't.
Well, hover you never did. Hover you always do.
You just chill there in the air, limp.
Let me double check. the
That's pretty
fly
kick-ass.
roll and what that has done. But talking about the different weapons, I'll get that. But so then there's like great clubs now have push, which I'm super excited about. If you hit a creature with this
like it.
weapon, you can push the creature up to 10 feet straight away from
Well,
yourself.
that makes sense because it's the force of it. I just dropped my phone. That makes perfect sense because the force of a great club, you should be able to be pushed back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, so right. Yeah, so I like Res. Yeah, it makes it very clear that you can just continually fly over and you can like your fly speed keeps you aloft as long as you have the speed. That is a very
Oh,
good.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, whereas weird before because I think it got worded two different ways and then it was I think it's like again, I really like that they just
I feel
made
like
it
a
very
lot of
clear.
what they've done is just clarifying things.
Yeah, it's super
which is
clarifying.
nice.
I really like. But yeah, big fan of the push there, which was super fun. And that's another one like the Great Club. So that's every time you hit it, which is sort of funny
That's
because
pretty
you
cool.
can just keep hitting people, moving them 10 feet.
Yeah,
There's like not even a save there,
that's pretty cool.
as long as it's like larger, smaller, that type of deal. So you
Yeah,
can keep
that's
just
pretty cool.
pushing. And then the other one is Vax. You
Not
have
to be
advantage on
confused
your
with
next
Vax.
attack roll against the creature before the end of your next turn when you hit it.
Uh-huh.
So again, I already had a rogue do this, which was really funny. They had advantage on their first attack,
Right.
and they used something that had Vex.
Mm-hmm.
So because they dealt damage with advantage, which is what you're likely to do in that first round,
Right.
they have advantage on their next turn,
Nice.
right?
Nice.
Which was really the next attack, but it ended up being the next turn. And they hit on that one because they had advantage. So they got their next turn. So rogue advantage is
It's
likely to
badass
carry
now.
over the entire time with a Vex
That's
weapon.
awesome.
So if you go Vex,
Which
you-
means then they still get the sneak attack every time because
Right.
they had
you
advantage.
basically have like blanket sneak.
Rogues just got even more scary. I
Yeah.
like it.
So that's like
Okay.
super powerful for that particular one. Same way if like a barbarian used something with Vex, then they wouldn't have to do reckless as much, possibly.
That's cool.
Uh,
That is pretty cool. What?
so that's super fun. Okay, I already took it slow. I'm talking about some of these other words. Let's see. The mace, there's the sap. If you hit a creature with this weapon, that creature has disadvantage on its next attack roll before the start of your next turn. That's super useful.
That's useful too.
Quarterstaff now has topple.
What? Topple with Shillelagh? Let's go.
Yeah, if you hit a creature with a weapon, you can force the creature to make a con save. DC 8 plus the ability modifier used to make the attack roll and your proficiency bonus. Okay.
So if you have like a +6, it's 8 + 6.
Yeah. On a failed save, the creature has the prone condition.
Let's go, druids.
So that definitely made quarterstaff wielding like so good.
Yeah.
Monks probably. are still
Oh
an
yeah,
advantage.
monks can use it too. I just think of it with Shillelagh, and I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Because wait, Shillelagh has a bonus to it too. So do you add the bonus from Shillelagh?
No, because it's the ability modifier and your proficiency bonus.
Oh, because at first it said whatever the modifier was.
The ability modifier used to make the attack.
Okay, well, see, what I misheard that because I was like, oh, Shillelagh has one, so then you would have to add that on top. But no,
Yeah,
that's fine.
no, it wouldn't.
That's fine. Yeah, that makes more sense.
What it would do is change your wisdom, right?
Right.
So instead of using your strength, it would be wisdom. So that wisdom, which is why they say you usually make the attack roll. So when you
That
change
makes sense. That makes
your
sense.
wisdom, so it would affect the wisdom on that. So it does work out
That's
well.
cool. That was cool.
And let's see here.
You're gonna have to
Sickle
get more
has
HP to
Nick
your
Spear.
enemies now.
So I'm actually more various weapons get some of these, which is really funny. I like how they changed character creation, but I don't wish there were more backgrounds.
But I do wish or don't wish.
Sure.
Do. He does wish there was more background.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
okay.
mean it's the opening book, right? So
Well, hello, Ruby.
yeah, I get
Rose.
it though.
I have a
Um,
visitor who's
Can you
being...
still custom backgrounds?
I
I
don't see
mean-
why not?
Yeah, I mean you can do whatever you want as D&D, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as clear as to how to necessarily do it. The big thing with the backgrounds is it's very similar to me to
Come on
what
up. Come
Grimella was trying to do
Come
with its
Second, you let Ruby
kind
off
of
the chest
back
bath.
creation, like with Valican clans and all that. Which is that they seem to care a lot. They really want your ability increases, like that +2/+1, to come from what you did with life and have some
Right.
reasons, which I really like that. I really like the idea of you're really good at something because you did it a lot before we met you, which I would prefer. So yeah, I think okay. So now I understand what the question. Yeah, I don't think that they don't have the custom backgrounds built into it, right? It's like anything you can add to it, but because it's not a built-in rule, it wouldn't be reflected in the end.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's sort of the.
Okay, but Jackie, if you get 3 legendaries, that means the GM gets 10. I really don't think we want to go that route.
If you're GM Balo and you play a GM Balo game, all your people get 10 legendary actions and crits. But I do, yeah. So I like all that. Oh yeah, so I said with the backgrounds, I liked it because, again, like a farmer being strong, like the +2, because I like it that because it then gives like the RPQ to the player when they're like, let's say, like getting that great hammer down. You know, they're like, it's like I'm crushing grapes or whatever because I grew up on a farm.
You stomp grapes, you don't crush
I know,
them.
but it's like,
But okay,
but it's like I'm grabbing a lamb, or I'm grabbing this cow, or I'm pulling this. You know, whatever you're doing your strength for, it immediately reminds you, oh, you got this strength because you grew up on a farm, or because you were the soldier, and when you're figuring your descriptions and what your character looks like while they're doing this, now it gives you a little bit of that cue and makes into the cake a little more, which I do like that, because when I work with players, sometimes it's so hard to let them know, hey, like you were this, why, what does it look like? And sometimes descriptions will happen that really have nothing to do with the character's backstory, nothing to do with what they've said about the character so far, and when it does that, it just removes the backstory or removes their background and some of the things we really want to play with from the character.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it like harder, you know, to really have a lot of fun with it, or have as much fun as you'd love to do it.
I just realized how much I have to update all my characters that randomly show up in your games, and I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I'm just not gonna.
Moving through some of these, there's the Graze. If your attack roll with this weapon misses a creature, you can deal damage to that creature equal to the ability modifier you use to make the attack roll.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
'tis but a flesh wound.
So that's on Glaive, which already is heavy, reach, and two-handed.
Yeah.
This damage is the same type dealt by the weapon, and the damage can be increased only by increasing the ability modifier.
But you have to scream out, "'Tis but a flesh wound."
Kind
of like Bobby still has to go.
Yeah. So that's actually super fun, because if you're using a glaive, you can do auto damage.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. You're constantly we'll do strength here. Constantly doing your strength mod in damage every turn when you're using a glaive. And then if you hit, you get to add a d10 to that.
Nice. What's up, Burpee? Oh God! Do not give Marlboro a glaive.
Yeah.
Man does enough damage.
Don't give him it.
Yeah.
Don't
I choose
give him
farmer if you played wizard. So the big thing with that is that you're not going to get your +2 intelligence, right? Because farmer gets +2 strength. I think something else, con probably. So or maybe wisdom. I can't remember. But you definitely couldn't have your intelligence with wizard because it's tied to that background real strong. So you don't get that +2.
Why not? You could be a wizard farmer. I mean, have you not seen the movie Willow?
Oh yeah.
I guess you have to be a halfling if you do it.
I think it would be really fun to do something like that, but it is like we gotta what the hell they tied it. Which I think is interesting, but
Sorry.
Now
I'm gonna make Willow to be a clear character.
Graze.
Good job,
And so taking a different heavy weapon here, you can instead of graze, you can pick something with cleave, right? If you hit a creature with a melee attack roll using this weapon, you can make a melee attack roll with the weapon against a second creature within 5 feet of the
Well,
first.
okay, let's go.
That is also within your reach. On a hit, the second creature takes the weapon's damage, but don't add your ability modifier to that damage unless that modifier is negative.
Still, damn, shabam bam.
To make it only once per turn. Yeah. So this effectively gives an extra attack to anyone using the cleave of mastery, right? So it's actually kind of crazy because like rogues will get extra attack with Nick.
Go watch that.
But then barbarians and fighters and a few other here are going to be able to get an extra attack right away because of cleave. Not against the same person, right? But still like pretty beast overall. So it's kind of nuts because you take that plus the extra attacks you get plus barbarians if they still can do it. I have to look if barbarians still get to do, or if the Great Weapon Master one thing lets you do like a bonus action if you attack if you kill something. Anyway, there's like definitely things where this could cycle through. I'd have to double check that's true. Who wants challenge when you get weapon mastery and stab them with your wizard daggers each turn?
Yeah, I can see why you would prefer custom lineage.
Yeah, at this point I'm pretty much I either want Ghostfire's way of doing it or go ahead and do it the 2024 way. So Ghostfire where you could do the +2/+1 wherever you want, but then you pick the 8 traits.
Yeah.
Via clans or via some other things you could do, whether you use Aurora or with Grimala when it comes out, or Vatican clans. There's all those different ones in there. That's what I kind of like those two systems.
Yeah, Ghostfire's really good at what they do.
That's sort of where I get to that, because then because the one that 2024 and Ghostfire, they do the same thing, which ultimately is linking your abilities to who you are as a humanoid or as an individual.
That's specious.
Yeah. Versus it just being inborn, right? It's trying to create a story for you. It's helping you create this backstory.
So I'm offended that everything is humanoid.
You know what? This is...
Lizards should not be humanoid. Well, it depends on what conspiracy theory you believe in, I guess.
That's true. All right, so we covered Graze and Cleave. We've done Topple and Sap, Snake Fax, Topple. So yeah, so that's all of them. So then it's like I think just some interesting ones like Pistol gets Vex. So you can like keep getting an advantage if using a pistol.
Yeah.
The musket, for instance, gets slow. A longbow gets slow, which I think is super fun. I really love this idea of you're doing the damage, and as you're hitting with the longbow, you're like hitting the ankle and the thigh, and that's causing them to slow down.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy that they chose that.
Well, I feel like they're being almost more accurate how weapons really work.
Yeah.
And I kind of dig that because it's high fantasy or low fantasy or whatever kind of fantasy you want to do. But I like that the weapons are being more realistic.
I like that. Heavy crossbow gets push.
Hell yeah, it should.
So, boom! I just love that vision with this big bolt hits you and you stagger.
It should.
And I think again,
unless you're Goliath, you're not withstanding that without moving.
What these do is give the DM RPQs actually.
Yeah.
It lets them go, oh, it's being pushed. Oh, they're getting vexed. Like, cool. And I get to we get to describe what that looks like as
that's very that would be very dangerous in the Tuesday Night Loath fight right now though, because most of you have spider climb, so you're good, but like those thin little webs, you get pushed off one of those, you're gonna be in the abyss. But bye. Well, actually, a lot of your that push could be really deadly in a lot of the dungeons we've done.
Push can be pretty crazy. I think
I like it.
But the big thing is you have to have the right mastery. And
you have
to.
Yeah.
So I think kind of where that comes down. And of course, like if players have like monsters have this too.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
And so there's gonna be
Sorry, guys.
It's gonna be a lot of stuff there. Now there's whip, which I think is
Listen up, fire. Don't you yawn?
so like a lot because it has the slow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else. Trident has topple. That's real fun. That can knock people down.
Yeah.
Pike is pushing. Rapier is Vex. Yeah, they gave a lot of the rogue weapons Vex.
Well, yeah, because it makes sense.
Which whip is finesse. Has whip always been finesse? I don't remember if whip is. Maybe it has.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you would.
I'm really happy that you have those plans. But yeah, so that's basic. And I don't know if anyone's questions on the weapon stuff or how.
Oh,
I see
speaking
the
of
weapons.
Griff, I hope I didn't screw that many up. Because it came as 2 separate ones and I had to put it back together, and I hope I put it back together right. Guys, I have not done anything for minis this week. I am so far behind. I apologize. That surgery kicked my ass, and I am just now starting to feel human again. So I apologize. I am all off my game this week.
And the ammunition. You can use a weapon that has ammunition property to make a ranged attack only if you have ammunition to fire. That's the same. The type of ammunition required is specified with the weapon's range. Yeah. Each attack expends 1 piece of ammunition.
Yeah.
Drawing the ammunition is part of the attack.
Yeah.
You need a free hand to load a one-handed weapon.
Yeah.
After a fight, you can spend 1 minute to recover half the ammunition.
Oh, so you actually now gives you a time limit.
Yeah.
Because usually before it's just
Use and
like, I'm going to go
fight,
pick
the
up
rest
half
is
my
lost.
stuff.
Yeah. So it's basically key.
Wait, do you want to come up
key
here?
there
What?
is that you no longer have that weird like bonus action
Yeah.
that you're supposed to use to like put the stuff in,
Come on.
like all that stuff, which most people always try to do an ability to get rid of it anyway.
Why are you so
Um,
attention starved, beautiful? Huh?
So now you just fire.
Off screen, you can't see the really adorable doggy who just knocked my phone on the floor. Be right back. Okay.
Oh, interesting. So heavy, you have disadvantage on attack rolls with a heavy weapon if it's a melee weapon and your strength score isn't at least 13, or if it's a ranged weapon and your dexterity score isn't at least 13. So
I don't know. It's cool. It came out in 2 pieces. I don't care. I put it together. And then I printed it separately as well. That way I can figure it out. But I appreciate that. Sorry, I was busy reading and talking about art department over here.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I was looking at stuff. Improvised weapons, pretty much the same, except again, like so many things a little clearer. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, there's ammunition property. Loading is still functioning. Now I'm getting all the way down. Loading, you can fire only 1 piece of ammunition from a loading weapon when you use an action, a bonus action or reaction to fire it, regardless of the number of attacks you can normally take.
Aw, that means Cam can't double shoot people now.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, it does mean you can't
Well, honestly, though, that's
reload. So
Yeah.
you can't even like reload between. Yeah.
What I like about that
Shoot once.
is, again, more realistic, but 2, it also makes it a lot harder to have the deadliness of, say, like Percy.
Yeah.
Like, although, you still put on it the repeating, what is it from Artificer? Repeating shot or whatever, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Magical ammunition.
Yeah, that apparently
I like that.
specifies you can dance. Yeah.
Okay, I like that but I expect you to be doing an interpretive dance, and I want to see it on camera.
Yeah. You have to
Now I need to see it. Come on.
absolutely.
Well, nope. You know what? I should not say that because Jalen's going to take me up on it, and I do not want to see what dance Jalen's going to do just mess with me. I take it back. You do not have to do it on camera.
Yeah, I really like that specified because again, it was like I think even in the beginning of
Oh, I hate that.
the original Bard, it said like any type of art. Like it said, you can be a painting bard, you can be a this. But you're right. Then it didn't like. I think what they assumed was since we said the like description of Bard
Yeah.
that this can be any art, we assume you will apply that to everything we write below this.
Yeah,
and it
but
wasn't-
people aren't that smart all the time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. The counter spell now traditionally behaves more traditional, like a counter spell
Yeah.
is nice. Because before it was like I have to play ahead of time. Like I have to think they're going to
Yes,
do it, and
I do like that
it's so
counter
weird.
charm is a reaction.
Because everybody wanted to be so bad, could be like, charm. Why have counter charm? I should have done that your last turn.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
And it made Bard sometimes boring because it was like, oh, I'm just counter charming on my turn.
Yep.
Right. So.
Because it is dumb. I mean, sorry, but it was.
Yeah.
Did you ever have? Yes. Okay. I got confused. Thank you. What else you got in that book?
Yeah. Just a few things to specify some stuff.
Just some stuff.
Yeah, who about armor?
16 more.
Ugh, armor. Losers. What?
And Fishland doesn't
Yeah, I
go
think
down
armor
to
doesn't
half
change
one.
too much.
think
I do like
it's
on the
heavy stuff,
table,
but
it
then that comes down.
it clearly
Takes a lot longer. Yeah.
tells you the arm disarm speed or the doff speed,
Yeah.
don and doff speed, right in the table, which is a little better. Again, just organizationally, I like a lot of it.
Yep.
So one thing that some people I think were wondering is how playable it is without
And then
without D&D Beyond, but
fine.
that's what it is. And then there's tools. We're not going to go totally over it. It tells you exactly what you can craft with all the tools. Oddly, brewer supplies you can't craft beer, but that's okay.
I'm down 20 cents on that one. Yep. I'm sorry. What's wrong?
All right. So the Great Weapon Master feat, Jackie, you're talking about it. Let me look up the feats. Because that's general feats, right? Or is that? Here it is. Yeah. Level 4 plus. So you have to be level 4. You have to have strength 13. Increases your strength.
What
by
increases your
1.
strength?
Great Weapon Master.
Oh. Sorry, guys. I am like
So-
half here and half distracted, so you know.
Heavy Weapon Mastery. When you hit a creature with a weapon that has a heavy property as part of the attack action, on your turn, you can cause the weapon to deal extra damage to that target. That extra damage equals your proficiency bonus. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so you no longer have the -5. You just get the flats.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I can see how it's good. It's better for certain classes, but worse for others that way.
yeah, and I think it works. I have to say, I kind of like it because I felt like the +10 was a little nuts, especially in certain situations. Like
You mean
you're-
Marlboro?
Well, because once that and again, it has to do with how they design the rest of the game. The ACs do not stack right with the
No,
to hits.
no.
Like you have CR 30 creatures with 18 AC that like now they're taking all this damage,
Yeah.
and they don't get that much more HP usually. I mean, we do it differently, but
Yes.
it's there was a lot of on the fly thing. So okay, yeah. So Great Weapon Master. Immediately after you score a critical hit with a melee weapon or reduce a creature to 0 hits points with 1, you can make 1 attack with the same weapon as a bonus action.
My
That's still
phone's
there.
gonna die
Yeah.
soon
So if
anyways.
you have cleave with your heavy weapon, Against 2, you're already getting to hit 1, hit 2. If one of them dies, you can bonus action strike out again, which is real fun. Yeah, I do like them a lot more of the feats give you some type of stat increase.
Yeah.
I think that is a really good design change.
Oh, geez, you wrote a paragraph. Hold on.
Yeah, so they basically made it work again. Not they made it marry in a different way.
I'll be right back, Daddy. I need a minute.
Which I super like that they did that. So
I'll be back in a minute.
I love that fire. Yeah, but they did. So I think to that point, I would say what they definitely did is try to change some of the crazy stuff. And as a DM, somebody who runs this War Humans, I really like that they took away a lot of the things where you had to like watch build videos to figure out how all this works. Looking through the new rules, looking through the new classes, it feels so much more straightforward as to how to make a good character. And you can just look at the rules and build the thing. And you don't have to get so deep into the weeds to have a lot of fun. Yeah, I do like that, Ace. I like the idea that they were trying to make backgrounds matter. I think that is very good. But it's funny. It's like anything. Like, when you play whatever game, as a table, when you sit down, you're still going to pick and choose what you play with and all that type of stuff. But I really do like that they were trying to do that a little more, where it's not like somebody who picks a super good this plus this build is suddenly super amazing in this thing. Where if you just wanted to straight up RP as the cleric, it's not as great. When they started to announce the ability of barbarians to do that, I think when they were saying that like it could be used as strength checks and whatever it ended up as, that was super good. I think it was because otherwise barbarians were like, I get to do something in combat, but if we're not in combat, I kind of suck at everything. And it was really hard, like investigation scenes, these type of things, but it gave them something to kind of cross that gap a little bit, I think, which is really good. And I would say, again, as a design thing, it's like they make it so that you can tell they expect you at a table to kind of work together, talk about it. Hey, can I take this investigation, as opposed to like trying to control people as much. I think that's really good. So. Yeah, I do see, because on that page, the inspiring leader. One thing that has changed the game has changed a lot of spells and how they kind of, is it interesting that it's changed a few things. Is the emanate keyword now? That's a big one. That is in the rule glossary. So a lot of spells now emanate in 10 feet. Or their emanation, I think is what it is. Emanation of 10 feet or 15 feet or 20 feet or whatever. And that just means it spreads out in, multiple straight lines away from the person who cast it. And it's so interesting. It says by default, the caster is not included in the emanation, but they can choose to be. And one thing that it changed quite a bit on was actually anti-magic field. Because that makes emanation, which means by default, the caster of anti-magic field is unaffected by anti-magic field. While like the barbarian who's trying to hit them with a magical weapon is affected by the anti-magic field. Right? So therefore, basically, in a given scenario, if they're dealing slashing damage or bludgeoning or piercing with a quote-unquote magic weapon, but the barbarian's in anti-magic field, they are not dealing damage to the lich.
I made it back.
Right?
What?
However, the lich can cast spells.
I didn't touch your toe.
Kind of point. Realizing that That must mean some people don't use their backgrounds to count. I figured.
Yeah, a lot of people just go, "Oh, I have to have a background," and just I'll do this.
Yeah, I think what
Me being one
the
of
one
them.
thing that does bother me about the backgrounds, that's always bothered me about the backgrounds, always been a pet peeve of mine,
Drop my phone again.
is that there's recommended backgrounds.
Yes.
So in other words, I do dislike, and I get this is what they did. I like what they're trying to do. I don't like that a background mechanically can make or break a character.
Yeah.
That's not great. I like that they matter, but again, I get
You
what they're
like
trying to
them?
do. But it's one of those things
I
where you're
love
trying to
you.
play an off character, like I personally really like the idea that you just put your +2/+1 anywhere you want, and you figure it out. You say why it's that way. I just have always
You let the pup back in?
I thought the other stuff was always super crazy. Yeah, I just never liked it being that way.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, miny, miny. Hi, Rufy.
To make classes feel
Saya, why are you in the
unique.
background?
Help buff the classes that were looked over for others.
Matt, mute my mic. Saya, get out of my back room. Saya.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think all that is super fun. But I do like they kind of make the fighting style feature that makes a little more sense a little bit as far as the way that they are. But yeah, a lot of things they do with the spell. The other spell, I don't want to. There's a few spells that I think I really am interested in
Like what?
the use. So the way they change sleep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or this one a few times. Okay, I'm rearranging. I'm not copying. Oh, that's too
I'll turn your volume back on.
Oh, turn me back up, baby.
Um,
I'm trying to lay down. I want to get comfy. Oh, I can't lay down.
so
Oh, fine. There.
the new one was like big area, roll some dice, and if everyone within certain HP range, because of that dice roll subtracted from it, they start to fall asleep. So the new one is each creature of your choice in a 5-foot radius sphere, centered on a point within range, must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw, or have the incapacitated condition until the end of its next turn. At which point, it must repeat the save. If the target fails the second save, the target has an unconscious condition for the duration. The spell ends on a target. If it takes damage or someone within 5 feet of it takes an action, just shake it out of the spell's effect. And of course, creatures that don't sleep, such as elves or that have immunity to the exhaustion condition, automatically succeed on saves against the spell. So, one,
I'm fixing it.
you can get up to basically, you theoretically, you have to get, 2 people. So I think where I could put a 5-foot sphere. Like you'd have to select maximum 2, I believe, for it. But I love that if they fail to say, or if they fail it the first time, they're actually incapacitated.
Yeah.
So it's like a nice little
It's a nice little bonus.
yeah. We're saying it's concentration, lets them know what's going on. I do need to actually.
What do you need to do?
If they keep the rules the same, then I get something else here. But yeah, so sleep is one of those. Of course, Spiritual Guardians has been a heavily talked about
Yes.
one.
Well, because it's amazing.
Yeah, where a lot of spells that were when you enter got when it enters.
Yeah.
So you as a caster can move it in, and they got the emanation anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you can move it out. Woodland Guardians, I think is what this one is.
What's this one?
Conjure Living Spirits. So it's an emanation, and it can do a 5d8 force damage,
Ooh.
and enables you to, as a bonus action, engage if you normally can't. Sorry, disengage.
If you normally can't,
Yeah.
that's pretty nice.
And so,
Wait, so like, even if you normally can't, now you can?
yeah. So it's really like I just love the idea of someone just running through the battlefield with these guardians.
Right.
And then for Ranger, because Rangers do get the spell, a Ranger's allowed to have self spells also affect
Others?
their beast.
Oh.
So not all
I
Rangers, but they're
see.
the Beast Ranger.
That's cool.
So
That's
you
gonna
could
be dangerous.
potentially have these double force creatures with the
Right.
wooden guardians running around, or the hawk or whatever, right?
That's-
So it's pretty crazy.
That's pretty dope, though.
The other thing that changes with them being emanations is that's from the creature's size too.
Right.
So
Oh. Okay, I see where you're going.
so that's crazy. Like because you could think of dragon, right? But now let's take that a step back and go elementals that are allowed to occupy the spaces of other creatures.
Oh.
So now you've got, I think, like you got like a 10-foot space one,
Yeah.
and then that goes out 15 feet from them,
Yo.
right?
Yo.
So now that is a much bigger area,
That's a much.
and they could just
bigger
come
area.
in. So their spiritual guardian is huge that they could potentially do this with, and you could definitely give them conjure minor elementals that whenever they hit deals more damage. So the emanation for certain monsters
That's
is deadly as heck.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
That's pretty cool,
Because they can move through spaces or occupy
Cool.
spaces, that type of thing.
I'm trying to get comfortable, you guys. It's not working. Your chair is much more comfortable to sit up in. I want to lay down.
All right, area effect. I want to see.
You want to see what? Oh, I got my pillow. Now I'm comfy. Oh, now I'm off.
If they change anything with area effect and how that works.
Yeah.
Area effect is a point of origin, location from which the effect's energy erupts.
Sorcerer burst? What is that?
Configure. I'll look up.
Here's a couple.
I'll configure in sorcerer's post. Sorcerer's protocol. That one is really good. I'll go through these up. Okay.
What?
Straight lines extending from the point of origin to a location. The area effect are blocked. Effect. To block a line. Oh, so this is actually really interesting. So to block, and anything can block a line if it provides total cover. If the character of an area or effect places it in an unseen point and an obstruction such as walls between the creator and that point, the point of origin comes into being on the near side of the obstruction. Okay, yeah, cool. It's always fine. Yeah, so this might be more in the Dungeon Master guide. I have to see if they talk about any of this. Oh, it's really interesting. Cone's point of origin isn't included in the effect unless its creator decides otherwise. Yeah, but it can. They describe if it is, right?
Yeah.
Just
That's still interesting.
nice. Yeah, so those are like fun things you gotta look at. I want to look at like a sphere here, for instance. Sphere is an area effect that extends in straight lines from a point of origin outside all directions. The effect that creates a sphere specifies distance extends as the radius of the sphere. Sphere's point of origin is included. Yeah, so
Okay, so it is included.
the sphere one is, but the cone
Cone.
isn't necessarily.
That's interesting. I wonder why there's the distinction. $20.34. Nice. That would be cool though too. To
Yeah, of the
use
same
as a
class,
sub-class.
yeah.
That would be kind of
We
wicked.
just,
All I'm not sure if my bike's doing any good, babe. I kind of my back really hurts, so I just moved positions.
No, you're fine.
Okay, as long as I'm still, you know.
Yeah, so from what I can tell, I think they took out playing on a grid from the
Really?
player's handbook. I'm looking, I don't see it because I was actually trying to see what they would do.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like, you guys used to play. They had guidance about what it looked like to play in a grid,
Right.
and that's why I'm just not seeing
Huh.
in this. But we'll see. Might be somewhere.
Yeah, they might be saying it for the DM guide. Yeah, they might be.
Yeah. There's a few things they are saving. That I can tell, but that could be one of those.
That could be, yeah. Oh, I hate when you do Twitch on your phone and they put the ads in. I get all distracted because I'm trying to read the comments. Oh, rude. I don't want a commercial right now.
Okay, they have it as they have playing on a grid. I see it now. It's like a little flavor box.
Oh, okay.
Why
is it a flavor box?
I don't know. Each square 5 feet, rather moving foot by foot. Speed. You can translate your speed into squares.
I'm not subbed as art department. I know that's really weird, right? No, I'm not subbed because Matt uses my sub for something else. So no, I am not subbed, even though I am the art department. Well, to be fair, too, generally I just have Twitch going in the background so that I can get points to help you guys. I don't actually watch it on Twitch because I listen to it live. So, it's kind of a waste of money for me to be subbed.
So it might be in here. The problem is, like, some of them are in a
weird spot.
Yeah, well, then it's like, for instance, like, there's falling unconscious, and then they have like a text box that's knocking out a creature, but that's not indexed.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah, as the organization, this stuff is always so interesting. I just wish they would do that more, but that's fine.
That's silly. Guys, I'm gonna fall asleep in this chair. If I fall asleep, will you please turn off my camera, Matt?
Maybe.
Nobody needs to see me sleep. It's not pretty, y'all. I grind my teeth. It's not pretty.
Okay, let me look at this Arcane Vigor.
Yeah, look at Arcane Vigor, and then I want you to look at Sorceress first.
Okay, so it's bonus action, range of self, verbal and somatic. It's instantaneous spell. You tap into your life force to heal yourself. Roll 1 or 2 of your unexpended hit point dice and regain a number of hit points equal to the total plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Nice.
Those dice are then expended. It's level 2.
That's nice.
Then you can upcast that.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice, though, having that little extra boost in there. So what is according to Ace, the new best cantress, Sorceress Burst?
Sorceress Burst.
Calling you out, Ace. Let's see if it's the new best cantress.
Yeah. There it is. That's my S's.
What is it?
Cool. Sorcerer's Burst.
Yes.
Evocation cantrip for sorcerer, an action, a range of 120 feet. Very nice.
Nice
Verbal somatic. Instantaneous. You cast sorcerer's energy at one creature or object within range.
Right.
Okay, so it can specifically target an object, which is nice. Make a range attack roll against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 damage of a type you choose. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, psychic, or thunder.
Is a cantrip?
It's 1d8 damage. You get to choose your source. Yeah.
Still, that's a nice cantrip.
It is very nice. The addition of psychic there is
That's what
unusual.
Okay, I can't get comfortable.
Oh yeah, I saw this. So if you roll an 8 on a d8 for this spell, you can roll another d8 and add it to the damage. when you
Wait a
cast,
minute. You roll a d8, you get another d8.
if you roll an 8.
Okay, continue.
When you cast a spell, the maximum number of these d8s you can add to the spell's damage equals your spell casting ability modifier.
Okay.
So you go your 1d8. If you get in a d8, you can roll another one and add the 2 together to get your damage.
Okay.
Right? Up to, like I said, 3 extras. But of
Right.
course, yeah, it's the cantrip upgrade,
Okay.
right? Which is
What
the
is
damage
that?
increases by 1d8 when you reach levels 5, 11, and 17. And it goes to 2d8, 3d8, 4d8. Which, of course, increases your chance of getting the extra bonus dice,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that's pretty damn dope. You're right.
Which also means, like, hey, if you're on the 3d8 and you roll max damage by something which occurs, you actually get 3 more. In addition, this is make a ranged attack roll against a target, right? That means it can crit,
Uh-huh.
right? Now, your extra d8s won't necessarily crit
Oh.
because they're a secondary source of damage, but you do get
I
more
see what
chances to
you're
get your bonus damage. So you wouldn't get, for instance, like 1 goes to 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
As an ace points out, at level 17, it's 4d8. And you can use your sorceress points to reroll
Alright,
damage.
That's pretty badass.
So when you're trying to get higher damage, anyway, you could roll to try to get those 8s to
That's pretty badass. All right. Good call, Ace. That's badass.
do it.
That's pretty damn badass. Good call. Get comfortable. No, I can't get comfortable.
So I feel like they added this to Speak with the Dead. Now I'm looking at it. A lot of it's the normal here. Till the spell ends, you can ask the corpse 5 questions. The corpse
Right.
knows only what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. So it doesn't know your language necessarily.
Right.
I think that might be new. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive.
Somebody got sick of that being abused. Usually brief. Nice.
They're telling, like, hey,
Knock it off.
make it brief, cryptic, or repetitive.
Nice.
And the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truth for answer. If you're antagonistic towards it or it recognizes you as enemy, the spell doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse can't learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it's died, and can't speculate about the future events.
That's somebody got upset about that being abused in game.
Yeah. Well, that's always been, that's like the one thing I do like that is really clear about doesn't comprehend anything, because people want to go like, I'm going to tell you a horrible thing, and you're like, it's not even them.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even here. They're not even processing this emotion. They're not comprehending.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just not how the spell works.
Have they made augury a little less confusing?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because augury is one of those spells that I agree with you. Like, I never used augury because I'm like, I don't quite get it.
Yeah, because that was always it was a hard one for people to use well. I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I never used it because it was always like, well, I don't get it.
Let's see. It's a minute or a ritual, so
That's still true.
You receive an omen from an otherworldly identity about the results of a course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses the omen from the omen's table: weal, woe, weal and woe, or indifference. I think they added indifference.
Yeah, I think indifference might be new on that.
The spell doesn't account for circumstances, such as other spells that might change the results. If you cast a spell more than once before finishing a long rest, there's a cumulative 25% chance for each casting. After the first one, you get no answer.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's still confusing.
Yeah, Not confusing. It's just so
It's-
hard to use correctly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this.
Same thing.
Yeah. The thing that people usually want it used for is not what it's designed to be
Right.
used for.
Yeah.
So what people usually want to kind of say is, we're going to go fight the dragon. Augury. Well,
90s teen angst, Tillman.
yeah.
The difference.
It's sort of like, well, what are you going to say? Yeah, wheel and woe, I guess. It could be good and bad, or indifference. Who knows? Like, I don't know what that's going to be for you.
Ever used augury?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever, and you guys know I play majority of clerics. I don't think I've ever actually used augury.
I tell you, when people don't use augury is when it would be sometimes the most beneficial. So, like some people, I'll say like this door, there's utter blackness in this door, and people go,
Right.
what's going to happen if I get into it? And they
Well, yeah,
augury. That's a great augury.
yeah.
Like going through this door. That's maybe like black or whatever. Yeah, if there's like 5 paths, something like that. I think that is like if there's like a glass container that closes on you. Was in one of the games. No one used augury on that one. That would have been a whoa, you know.
Well, I think I've used divine intervention once in all of my clerics once. So I might not be the person to ask to.
Oh, fire! That does stink.
Oh,
I love the insanity risk. I loved it.
come on! Some of my favorite was like, lies crawling under tables and chairs and biting people.
Yeah. It's absolutely, Jackie. That's going to be very useful, and it's so funny because when people have it, they usually, they'll carry it, but they won't use it for that. And it's people like to use it for like the very obvious bigger things that it's actually very useful for. But then I talk to some people who like, especially old school D&D people who like have played for 20, 30 years. A lot of them, I guess, use it right. Is from what I hear from other GMs.
Damn Mimic Village. Sorry. I found more mimics, guys.
Yeah. Aura of Life, it's an emanation now, which is super
Oh,
fun.
that's cool.
And again, emanation just like I like that it just makes it move with you.
Yeah, I like that.
You and your allies have resistance to necrotic. Your hit point maximus can be reduced. If an ally with 0 hit points starts its turn in the aura, the ally gains 1 HP.
Yeah,
Super useful. 30-foot emanation.
that's nice.
Yeah. The other fun thing about the rangers, I think it's the Fey Ranger. They can choose to make a concentration spell not concentration. It just changes the duration to a minute.
That's pretty badass in certain situations.
Yeah. So it's sort of like the thing, because a lot of people are complaining about Hunter's Mark being concentration now. There's a point to where that ranger in particular, not for them at one point, because they can just choose it not to be.
Oh, Barbara. I can't talk, guys.
Yeah, the Berserker now has one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty darn cool.
So that's fun, and then they could do that with like their summons, the conjure woodland beings.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's so funny because like I'm trying to decide if that's better or if Spirit Guardians is better, because you can make the one of them not concentration with that subclass. And incidentally, you can do that multiple times.
Yeah.
So if you have some effects, you can stack that way and have like it could be pretty crazy. They don't last a minute, but there's definitely some room for some crazy
Yeah, but
deals.
there's definitely room for nuts, man.
And so it's funny. Somebody was talking about, they got rid of broken spells, and there's some new quote unquote broken ones, which I don't think are broken. But what I think is, from a GM point of view, when I look at it, they feel so much more like the classes.
Yeah.
Where things are quote unquote broken. They feel so much more like the classes. It feels like something the class would do, not some weird rules manipulation.
Yeah.
Is my opinion of a lot of it.
that.
So that's why I really like a lot of, because I'm like, I don't mind that because I'm cool with these things interacting. Very fun. Though I do think the Spirit Guardian, because again, you got like Spirit Guardian thing.
like a rat.
with
Oh!
things like the moving people with your weapons.
Yes, that is what I just thought of.
Yeah.
Get out of my head.
Like Barbarian Cleric now have
That's-
so much room
oh, that's brutal.
to do crazy stuff.
That's brutal. I'm here for that. I like that. Well, now I'm going to be thinking about that all night.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea. Oh my god.
Yeah, the Conjure Miner, like, I'm gonna see it. Like, it's a lot of. But part of the reason I don't mind it is because I already know you all do so much damage. Like I already, like, it's already baked into the cake, right? I already know,
Yeah.
you know, and that type of thing. And so, and the way we play, but also there's like so much. It, like, I get that it can do a lot of strange stuff, but like I feel like people think it's worse than it is.
Why?
Well, because like so, Conjure Miner. Let me read it. Let me get it up, because that way I'll make sure I'll say it with precision here. I don't think it's as crazy. I mean, it's a good spell. So it's got Druid Wizard can do it.
Right.
You conjure spirits from the elemental planes that flit around you in a 15-foot emanation.
Okay.
For that duration, it's concentration up to 10 minutes.
Right.
Until the spell ends, any attack you make deals an extra 2d8 damage when you hit a creature in the emanation.
Okay.
This damage is acid, cold, fire, or lightning, your choice when you make the attack. In addition, the ground in the emanation is difficult terrain for your enemies.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad.
Yeah. So, because somebody brought up like Scorching Ray or like things like Eldritch Blast, but like you're still within like 10 feet
Yeah, you're still right up there.
of the enemy. So you're not doing this from like a crazy, you know, a crazy area away,
Sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm yawning so much.
right?
Yeah. Man, I'm so I have so many rules to look over now. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do
Oh, yeah.
it.
So I think that's the thing, because I was watching someone and it sounded like they thought that like you could be like 60 feet away and people take an extra 2d8. No, like you're right up there.
Yeah, you have to be right up there.
Yeah. I think when you take the things that barbarians can do, yeah, I like the abomination that is Evoker, yeah. But I mean, it's definitely you know, if you're doing multiple attacks, there's definitely a lot of different things you can
Right.
do when you pair with Scorching
Well,
Ray.
yeah,
but-
obvious.
You know, people, and the other big thing about that is the damage increases by 2d8 for each spell slot level above 4.
Okay.
So as a 5th level spell, it's 4d8 every attack. 6th level, it's 68
Yeah, okay.
above every one. So that's where it's like getting kind of crazy, is what people
Yeah,
would say.
It would be getting a little crazy there.
But again, concentration. And I have to see, like, I really hope that they do some good stuff with the monsters, where they have things that but again, to me, it just sounds like it's gonna be utterly
Speaking of
nonsense.
monsters, can I tell you about the TikTok I saw that I wish I would have saved, but I didn't? It was talking about a Trask. And they're like, what's terrifying about a Trask is that it has spikes on its back. Because animals evolved to have spikes on the back when there was a predator who attacked them so often or tried to eat them. So what is attacking a Trask and trying to eat it? That's terrifying. Sorry, I had to share that bit of information. I wish I would have saved it, but I didn't.
Okay, I see, because you're comparing it to Spirit Shroud. Fire. It probably does have better balance there.
Mm.
So, so Spirit Shroud was 3rd level, Go for 3 of the dead. Fluorization. Okay. Till the spell ends, any attack deals 1d8 when you hit a creature within 10 feet. Yeah, I think reading it, I would. I think an argument could be that because Spirit Shroud, it prevents you from regaining HP. Could be why the other one can get 2d8 and be okay. But it's funny because it was you have to do 2 slot levels to get 1d8. Well, this we do 1 slot level to get 2d8. Yeah, it's one of those that I really want to see in play the way they work, because you're also, because people are saying do 6 level spell, but you're also losing a 6th level spell. So, and I think my big thing on all of it is really comes down to like the adventuring day and how you're doing it. So like in our campaigns, we basically, a lot of us don't like playing with a full adventuring day. We call it tedious and all these types of things.
I think technically a Tarrasque might be bigger than a Great Worm.
Nice.
Just to clear up.
And so instead, what you do, all right, what we tend to do is we up the damage and the HP of the monsters,
right,
to account for the fact that we're going to have bigger encounters, and we're not going to do like the adventuring day, which I think is like 10 encounters a day.
Oof, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's stop, drop, and roll, Jackie. It's stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah. So I love that, because I love the fact that you can put a fire out, but you're going prone.
Yeah.
So it does take up movement, and it does take up like your turn.
They finally put it into words. It's drop, drop, and roll. I love it. But they made it like educational. You said we're not going to tell you it's stop, drop, and roll, but we all know it is. Sorry. Oh, that's funny. We all know it's stop, drop.
Yeah. Nobody's caught on to my comments on D&D Beyond about this anti-magic field. I think it's still a crazy spell.
It is. I think it's awesome, though. I am so going to lose power on my phone soon, Matt, and you're going to have to read me comments.
But yeah, those are all little ones.
I don't see a lot that I hate. I'm sure there are some that I'm gonna hate, but a lot of them don't. I don't see a lot that I seem to hate.
No, like I said, I think it's pretty good. It's really just some good tools, good stuff you can do.
There's a lot of little different things now too that you're like, we'll have to get used to. I am not reworking all my characters until you're like, hey, I want this character on this night, because I'm too freaking many.
Yeah.
For me to play that game. The amount of clerics I have to redo. Oh, God.
Oh. There's like Second Grasp is an interesting one, because they made it so that it only takes away the opponent's upper range.
Chill touch now? They actually have to touch them?
Yeah.
That I'm not okay with. Come on, guys. That was the joke of chill touch. Not okay with that change. That's the one I'm upset about.
Yeah, it's action range touch.
That's not cool anymore.
Channeling the Chill of the Grave. Make a melee spell attack against a target within reach. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 necrotic damage, and it can't regain HP.
Fun of the name for so long that they're like,
oh yeah.
Change it then.
But Second Grasp now just takes away their opportunity attack, not their reaction.
That kind of sucks too.
Hmm.
Maybe it was overpowered, but damn it, I like my overpoweredness sometimes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely have just a lot of little fun ones.
Before Monday TPKs. Wow. Yeah, I do like that. I like that though. I like that there's like dehydration rules now, and I know Josh watches Avantris games, I just started their Icebound series, and they've got like he's got like the starvation table, the cold, like the hypothermia table, like stuff. It was pretty cool because it's a hardcore survival game, but it's like so many days. You can go so many days without eating before you start having ill effects. So I like that.
Yeah,
I
there
like that
was.
it's having more of those extra mechanics in there because I feel like a lot of times, like especially with like traveling game, it's kind of boring. And so I like that there's like these extra things you have to be aware of because it kind of makes it a little more fun. For me, anyways. However, I guys, I haven't even started painting Valakin minis yet. No more TPKs. Come on. I can't, guys. I'm so far behind on everything.
Yeah. So the one ranger spell that came in that I really thought was interesting is Cordon of Arrows.
The what of the what?
Cordon of Arrows. You touch up to 4 non-magical arrows or bolts and plant them in the ground in your space. Until the spell ends, the ammunition can't be physically uprooted. And whenever a creature other than you enters a space within 30 feet of the ammunition for the first time or ends its turn there, one piece of ammunition flies up to strike it. The creature must succeed on a dex save or take 2d4 piercing.
That's badass.
The piece of ammunition is then destroyed. The spell
Like a
ends when
little-
none of it remains planted on the
It's
ground.
like a little ranger face circle.
Yeah.
I am ranger, but I am also fae. Wow.
Yeah. I really like that because it doesn't say you have to stay there and it's not concentration.
No. Yeah, I like that. It was like a little ranger trap.
Yeah.
I like
So it has a
that.
very heavy like trap thing.
That's cool. Oh man, what will we do with our cow chops now? Cow chops.
So really like that type of deal of like
I
a
like that. And
a
has
spell
a
that
nice
stays
little-
there and possibly does some cool
it has a
things.
nice little touch to the ranger too. I do
Yeah.
that. That's pretty cool.
The other thing that's sort of interesting about it is that as I'm reading it, it doesn't say that can be seen.
Oh.
So it hits invisible creatures.
Oh.
Because you're not choosing to have it
That's
hit.
Nice.
So no matter whether you know they are or whatever, then it's like whatever. The
That's
duration,
even
the
better.
duration's 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
So you can be 4 a long rest, plant cordon of arrows, and they're gonna fire out at anybody who
That's a
gets
new
it within
alarm
30
spell
feet.
For you right there.
Yeah, alarms. Ah!
Oh, someone fell into my cordon of arrows. Does it have to be arrows though? You said ranged weapon?
Arrows or boats.
Okay. I was like, guys, how cool would it be if it was bullets?
So I think it's a fun little spell. That,
No, I like it. I like it, and I like that it's ranger themed. Like, it seems really on brand.
yeah,
with
they
Rangers.
themed a lot of it, which is really fun.
I like that though, because a lot of times you're like, okay, I guess it makes sense to have this spell, but
The part of like Jackie, it's like this is why you have a cleric with create food and water.
amen.
And it literally says useful in fending off the hazards of malnutrition and dehydration.
And scurvy. That's why you take a druid with you on boat trips, man. Good berries. You're not gonna get scurvy. They're berries. You're
Plus,
good.
like a level 1 spell is create water.
Yeah. Put in between them. Thank you. Oh, about where they put the spells because that's. so
Oh yeah.
fun. I think for my clerics, I usually have food and water because I'm paranoid that Matt will trap us somewhere. Also, it clears up your bag. You don't have to carry rations. Who am I kidding? Every time my clerics get any money, the first thing they buy is bag of holding. Really, just put all their diamonds in.
Yeah, I feel like Darkness. They just really rewarded it and made it a little better. Like,
Yeah, it looks like they
Make it a
rewarded a,
little
lot
clearer.
of things and made things a lot more on theme, which I appreciate because I'm a nerd and I want things on theme.
yeah, Jack. I like that they just specified where those go, so you can be. I got the clarity too. I mean, it's part of when people. Well, can't I do with this? And you're kind of like, no, it's this.
9 for line.
I was just looking at for dark vision the component to cast it's a dried carrot because carrots are good for your eyes.
Well, at least they've stayed with the jokes.
I love that most of the material things are just a joke. It just always cracks me up.
It's very cool that they're jokes, though. You know, like that's how they should be. We were born and raised on the jokes.
Yeah, all the fun stuff. Then like there's like destructive wave for a paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Destructive energy ripples outward from you in a 30-foot emanation. Each creature you choose in the emanation makes a Constitution saving throw. If a failed save, a target takes 5d6 thunder and 5d6 radiant.
Oh.
Necrotic has a prone condition.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh, I do believe. Oh, yeah, they changed detect magic too a little bit.
Did they?
I think it's better. For the duration, you sense the presence of magical effects within 30 feet of yourself.
That's normal.
If you sense such effects, you can take the magic action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears the magic.
Okay.
And if an effect was created by a spell, you learn the spell School of Magic.
That's new. That's cool.
So I do like that one because now, if it's like a magical object, you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to know anything weird like, oh, so technically, blah, 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 blah. I hated that. And
that's pretty cool.
in addition, it was objects you could see. You would see an aura, and then you would know it's magical.
Yeah.
Where this, if it's in with 30 feet, you sense it. The spell is blocked by a foot of stone, dirt, or wood, 1 inch of metal, earth, and sheet of lead.
Yeah.
But before it was like it's behind someone's back.
You can't tell.
You don't know if it's magic or not because you're not seeing it. And then they like kind of run around the person's back. I want to see it, but this way they'd be like, "Oh no, I can." You know, there's something magical there. Then you could detect an aura if you can see it.
Yeah. Did they come out with new magical items too?
That would be in the Dungeon Master Guide if they do.
Okay. When does that release?
October, I believe. So, and then Community Detect Thoughts is so different. You activate one of the effects below until the spell ends. You can activate either effect as a magic action on your later turns.
Okay.
Sense thoughts. You sense the presence of thoughts within 30 feet of yourself that belong to creatures that know languages or are telepathic. You don't read the thoughts, but you know that a thinking creature is present. So no longer service thoughts. So you do not automatically get service thoughts anymore. Which is nice because it was a signal of Sonic and it like kind of made insight almost dumb.
Yeah.
Because you just sort of like knew because like it was like if they were lying because you go, can you read their thoughts? Or then people would go, no, they know the spell, so they are practiced in thinking about something other than what they're saying. And so it's the type of things that DMs would do, right?
Yeah.
So, and I like that. Like anything that's going to make a DM possibly try to like make up a BS answer like that.
Whereas like half my characters have Ring of Mind Shielding.
Yeah. Well, and whereas like a lot of times I'll just go, part of the mystery is y'all figuring this out. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Like I try not to be like making. I'll make up a word excuse a little bit, but like I want to be like I always be very clear. Like just don't go this way because it's going to run the fun of the game. Like we want to have fun. Let's not do it this way. Now though, there's read thoughts, right? So the second part of that is read thoughts. The target one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself, or one creature within 30 feet of yourself that you detected with the sense thoughts option. So you don't have to have direct line of sight,
Oh, that's nice.
right? If you detected them with sense thoughts, you learn what is most on the target's mind right now. If the target doesn't know any languages and isn't telepathic, you learn nothing. So I do like that. So just what's on their mind right now, like what are they thinking about this moment, and to be clear here, it's not an ongoing thing
Right.
like the other spell was. This is an action. Boom. What's on there right in that moment when you use the action. Right now, as a master action, your next turn after you've done read thoughts, you can try to probe deeper into the target's mind.
Okay.
If you probe deeper, the target makes a wisdom save. On a failed save, you can discern the target's reasoning, emotions, and something that looms large in its mind, such as worry, love, or hate. On a successful save, the spell ends. Either way, the target knows that you are probing into the mind, and until you shift your attention away from the target's mind, the target can take an action on its turn to make an intelligence or con check against your spell save DC, ending the spell on a success.
Okay. I kind of like it better.
Yeah. And so it's interesting to me that they say something that looms large in its mind, such as worry, love, or hate, emotion. So basically, they've made the spell such that the DM is under no obligation to give you the secrets.
Yeah.
Right? They can give you
exactly what it is.
right. The obligation of the GM is to give you something probably useful, probably that is good, but is like I don't need to give you the blueprints of the
Right.
secret base, right? I don't need to give you the reveal. I don't, because you did detect thoughts on the right person or whatever. So I think that maintains mystery campaigns a lot better,
I think so too. Yeah.
which I like. 'Cause a lot of times you'd be like, let's do a mystery campaign. Everyone takes detect thoughts. And now you're like, oh, that's really annoying. I guess everyone has.
Tech thoughts would have been helpful in that Fred and Calculus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and even this one would be because you get emotions, you'd get intentions, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, without question.
Cypher is definitely better. For
Yeah.
mysteries. All right, my phone's about to die, and so am I.
Yeah. You have a second, but if you're playing D&D, you might want to play a mystery in your campaign, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's the.
And you don't let your wife write the letters because then they're written too well. People miss all the clues.
Because that's a big thing. Some people go, well, you're trying to play the wrong game with D&D. And I was like, well, you got to remember D&D is meant to be a sprawling epic
Yeah.
of a campaign. In other words, it's meant to encompass many, many genres of storytelling.
We had the Halloween 3-shot that we never ran all of them. That was more of a mystery.
Right.
D&D.
And so, yeah, the weird bird guy ministry. Yeah, I love that. That was fun.
Oh, we did.
But yeah, I think that's sort of when you're coming around it. And so, like, and again, if you're trying to do like we want to play a mystery game and we want to play 2 years of mystery, D&D's probably not the
D&D 's
best.
not your game.
Not the one you probably want to pick.
Now, if you want a mystery while being terrified for the rest of your life, hold that.
Absolutely. Because my favorite thing about Cypher, when it comes to mystery, is you can make a roll that maybe might solve the mystery too soon,
Mm-hmm.
but I can GM intrusion.
Yep.
So in other words, you get experience for like pick and rate, but they're going to eat your brain or whatever you're going to have them do, and whatever changes here. In other words, like again, as a GM, you don't have to give away, the prized goose there, but you can do something, and there's mechanics that protect it. And this is kind of what they do with the tech plots.
Yeah.
So coming up, recruiting for New Thursday, new Exandrian funness.
We're gonna try to get better about some Balo time / art department rants and reviews.
Absolutely. So all the D&D, we'll move into 2024. We're just figuring out the pace for each campaign.
I'm still convinced Blue Rose Old God is what fucked Old Gods on the late night.
They're why 2024 happened. It's all Blue Rose's fault. They did it.
Yeah, we got the New Thursday campaign. We're gonna try to.
Mm-hmm. Then there's also spots for money, all that stuff, but all that good. And
Also, we're gonna, we're coming up to spooky season, so expect some spooky one shots probably.
Yeah, and then soon there's other. We'll be able to officially announce some of the other things that have been hinted, and a few spoilers put out here and there. But we'll officially put all that out. I think soon. I think like soon is the best way to say that. It's all coming together.
Probably not the death of everyone, just nail it.
The boxes to talk about some stuff and to give you some cool things are being checked off.
Boxes.
Things are progressing. So, with that, everyone hanging out, thank you so much, and
Bye, guys.
I hope to see you all in the games. Bye.